Tonight at 10 o'clock, we have an exclusive report on socialism. Our show kicks off with the expansion of voters in England. With the expansion of the electorate here in England, there are many new voters. The new voters are inexperienced, unaware of the political process, and unaware of most of the political parties. One of these political parties is the Labour Party, which has grown in influence and stature until the Liberals re-granted protection of the trade unions just recently. We now go to the newly established voting booths where conservative and socialist parties are vying for the support of the new voters.
Sir, over here.
Oh, okay.
Name?
Wangle.
Origin of birth?
Britain.
Age?
28.
Profession?
Factory worker.
Okay, you may now proceed to vote.
Okay, is it over here?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Over here, sir.
Oh.
Are you not a factory worker?
Yeah.
Do you hate working in your factory?
Yeah.
Do you suffer from poor conditions?
Yeah.
Do you want to improve your life?
Sure.
Then vote for the Labour Party of England this season. We'll help you improve your conditions for your family, yourselves, get you higher wages, better food. Vote for the Labour Party.
Okay, sure. Oh, sir. Do you love your nation?
Yeah.
Do you want to see England become the greatest nation on earth?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy watching our nation prosper and gain wealth and conquer other countries?
Yeah, I do, I guess.
Then you should vote for the conservative order underneath Benjamin Disraeli.
Okay.
Do it.
Sure.
Here are some pictures and political cartoons of the period to illustrate what we're discussing. This is a political cartoon promoting equality and getting people to vote for the Labour Party of England. This is a political cartoon of workers and how they wanted political participation. This cartoon portrays English power and domination of the world.
Recently, an enormous working strike occurred near a local factory. The proletarians that went on strike demanded cleaner working conditions, as well as higher wages. Thankfully, no one was injured as it was a peaceful protest. There has been an emergence of trade unions to assist these discontented workers. Now we will check out the scene at the strike.
You did it!
Sorry, that's all we could cover because of unsafe working conditions for our reporters. However, these are some other pictures of similar scenarios occurring throughout the continent. This is Keir Hardie, the first English working man to be elected to the parliament. Because of these strikes, a new socialist society was formed called the Fabian Society, created by Sidney Webb, who also thought the industrial problems could be solved peacefully. This is the crest of the Fabian Society. This is a charter of Fabian Society members. In Sidney Webb's Historical Basis of Socialism, he wrote, "In the present socialist movement, these two streams are united. Advocates of social reconstruction have learnt the lesson of democracy, and know that it is through the slow and gradual turning of the popular mind to new principles that social reorganization bit by bit comes."
He's basically saying that socialists have learned that through popular support comes social reform.
Yesterday, Jean Jaurès, leader of the French Socialist Party, was assassinated in a cafe. Jaurès believed that Parisian socialists should cooperate with the middle class to pass social legislation for the proletariat. He and Julius Guesde were the two biggest leaders of the socialist factions in France, but by 1904 they had united. Here is a scene of what the murder of Juarez looked like. We, as socialists, should work closely with the middle class instead of enacting revolutions in order to promote legislation which would eventually benefit us, instead of using revolutions which only cause senseless violence and bloodshed. Instead, if we use
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Here we are at a Paris cafe where French socialist leader Jean Juarez was just assassinated last night. He was sitting in that chair talking to a currently anonymous source about his program for the Socialist Party. He was discussing ideas of reform instead of revolution, which is probably what got him shot. Here we have the murder weapon, or what we believe to be the murder weapon. It's damaged because the gunman, we expect, ran through that hallway, shot Juarez, who was sitting here, dropped his weapon, and escaped. The body is still on the scene, right where he was shot and died. For more on the story, let's go back to our anchor.
Here are some pictures of the French Socialist Party and some of its leaders. This is Jean Juarez himself, one of the primary leaders of the French Socialist Party. This is a sketch of the assassination of Juarez.
This will be our last segment for tonight's show. We will report on Germany's progression into socialism. One of the first parties was the German Social Democratic Party, or SPD. They wanted workers to have more say inside Germany's government. This group was split between people who were pro-revolutionary and also people that wanted just reform within the country. Although this was very controversial with Chancellor Bismarck, this group had much power within the government. The SPD, even though many people in the group were pro-revolutionary, took a similar stand to that of Edward Bernstein and revisionism on how to reform German politics. Here is a debate between a revisionist and orthodox socialist. But first, here are some pictures of German socialist leaders and parties to further your understanding.
This is the Communist Manifesto, the book that had such a great influence on German socialism.
This is Karl Marx, one of the writers of the Communist Manifesto and the father of Marxism. And this, of course, is the greatest beard in all of Europe.
This is Otto von Bismarck, Chancellor of the German Empire, who opposed the SPD.
This is Ferdinand Lassalle, whose labor strikes led to the formation of the SPD after his death.
This is Edward Bernstein, whose revisionist ideas led to heated debates among German socialists.
This is a German socialist poster that promotes democracy.
What is your stance on how a German socialist society should be created?
I believe the proletariat should rise up through revolution. Capitalism will not work, society will crumble because of greed. Because of the rise of the working class, wealth will be evenly distributed among the citizens.
Why do you take that stance?
I take this stance because I support the Communist Manifesto. I am completely against capitalism as it will inevitably destroy our society.
So do you follow Marxist or revisionist ideals?
I advocate Marxist ideals because I favor a massive rise in the working class and revolution rather than with reforms. The suffering of the working class causes them to take part in these risings.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Please welcome our next guest who was chosen to remain anonymous. Hello.
First, I'd like to begin by saying that I'm very grateful for you having me here.
Oh, you're welcome. So what is your stance on how a German socialist society should be created?
I believe that we should work closely with the middle and upper classes in order to enact reform that would help the proletariat. One way would be that through legislation that would expand the franchise, essentially granting socialism by allowing the working class to have a voice in the government.
So why do you take this stance?
I take this stance because I believe that Bernstein policies are useful because there would be no more bloodshed, and the inner workings of capitalism would not collapse as Marx has predicted. but instead actually help the proletariat.
So do you follow Marxist or revisionist ideals?
I believe I'm a staunch revisionist because once again, I favor reforms instead of revolution. And I also favor the Bernsteinian policies.
Thank you for coming today.
Pleasure was mine.
Thank you for watching our show on socialism today. Tune in next week for a report on Russia. Hey!
That hallway.
Wait, what?
Oh my god! Why is
He ran over there!
No, he ran through this hallway, shot him in the back, laying just where he was shot. Oh, why would you scratch yourself?
My